All right, can you guys hear me okay? Actually, you guys can see that little camera stand, can't you? 1 second, I'm gonna fix that. That's weird. Shift this camera. There. Even though you can still kind of see it. All right. I think that's a little bit better. How's that? That camera's super lopsided, but we're gonna get through it. Anyway, so I'm kind of gonna start in 2020 and trying to do a live Q&A once a week. That's kind of my goal to get done. I think it's a good goal. I mean, it's really simple to sit down and prop up a camera and easily do something like a Sunday or a Thursday, essentially one of my rest days, for 30, 40 minutes and just essentially connect with people who actually watch my videos. And so yeah, that's kind of what we're doing here today. I'm actually going to be leaving for China tomorrow for Pandaland and Chengdu, so I figured, no time like the present to get it done on Sunday, partially because I'm pretty sure YouTube is blocked in China. So we'll be unable to view YouTube unless I use like a VPN, which I'm still researching which VPN to download for YouTube and for Instagram. So anyways, that's kind of a brief intro. 2020, we're going to try and do once these a week. I think it's important to just knock them out 30 minutes. It's very easy to answer your guys' questions. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that soon, I think probably in 2020 also, we're going to be getting involved in a YouTube membership program. And so I've actually designed a bunch of custom emojis for the channel, if you are a member of the channel. And so I think can I drop them in the chat? Let me see if I can drop them in the chat right now. I cannot drop these in the chat. Never mind. So anyways, I had some custom emojis made kind of for the channel, specific to myself, or specifically myself and CrossFit and Winston pretty much. And actually right now a majority of them are Winston, so it's kind of cool. Anyway, so if you have some ideas for that, please drop them in the chat below. But anyways, I'm going to kind of answer some questions. We're going to spend 20 minutes answering questions, getting back to you guys have given me so much, and then, yeah, try to do these kind of once a week. Should be pretty easy. So anyways, let me pull up my notes here. First of all, Nick, we're just going to kind of work these questions really briefly, guys. Nick, does pineapple belong on pizza? Absolutely not. If you ask my wife, she'll say it does belong on pizza. She loves Hawaiian pizza with pineapple. I think it's the most disgusting thing on the planet. It's a fruit. Let's keep it that way. Am I heading to the UK pretty soon? No, probably not. I'm actually, let me actually give a little brief discussion what we're doing right now. For those of you guys who are actually watching this, because, well, you guys are watching this, so it's kind of important to me. In 2020, one thing I'm currently working through right now is the concept of the national champ idea, right? So if you guys know what I'm talking about, let me know down below. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll give you more detail. But what more detail is the idea that in 2019, CrossFit Games made a lot of changes to the CrossFit season. One of them was adding national champs, giving them the ability to go straight to CrossFit Games from the Open. Now, I'm really not talking about national champs like Matt Frazier, like Gudmundsson, like these guys who are really, really good and that are already national champs for the country. I'm talking about like national champs from countries that you don't really know where the country's at, and they're not super competitive, and the country isn't really known for producing really great CrossFit athletes. So, and as we all know, like human nature says we don't like changes, right? Like so there was a lot of flack, a lot of drawback, a lot of negative feedback, like, okay, these guys from the fittest in this country, wherever that country is from, don't deserve to take the floor at the top 20 of the Open. They don't deserve to take the floor as Matt Frazier. They don't deserve to take the floor with Cole Sager. They don't deserve to take the floor with whoever. And as an example, this is both males and females. And I think what we're going to be doing in 2020, and we're working through it right now, is traveling to some specific countries where they meet a few different categories. Number one, they have a CrossFit affiliate and they actually have a national champ. Obviously some countries don't have national champs. Two, that national champ actually lives in that country. Nothing against people that have done this. That's, their own way. They're a citizen in that country. That's totally fine. But I want to travel to the actual country. So, I don't want to travel to, like find the fittest in Nicaragua, for instance. I don't want to be like, okay, well, I'm going to go hang out with the fittest in Nicaragua, and it's going to be a really cool experience to see what they've sacrificed, what they've done, and then you find out they live in Chicago. Like, it just detracts from the overall concept of really spending time getting to know and then filming it and then letting the viewer watch it so you guys get to know the fittest in this country, hypothetically. And it's just not the same if the fittest in that country, hypothetically Nicaragua, lives in downtown Chicago. It just is kind of like, that's kind of boring. Like, I don't want to travel to Chicago. So, right now what we're looking at probably traveling in February, March, or April time frame. My wife and I kind of considered what we're looking at right now is probably, instead of doing like 6 different trips over the course of 6 months, what we're thoroughly considering right now is one large trip where we essentially set aside 2 weeks and we travel for these 2 weeks to hit these countries up. And so the easiest way to do that is to find a location geographically that is very dense in countries, right? So for us, very dense countries are like Europe. And so right now, I don't have a map in front of me or else I can actually tell you. Right now, we're kind of looking at Switzerland, Austria, Poland, essentially kind of east of Germany, southeast or east of Germany, and west of Bosnia. And so that's kind of what we're considering right now of doing. And so we're kind of looking at those locations. And so right now, I've got an editor that I probably might be working with for this project, and then I've also might have on tap an actual videographer that will travel with us. So it's going to be a really cool opportunity to travel around and spread some positive information and positive stuff for guys and girls that aren't necessarily household names, right? Like at one point, Jacob Heppner wasn't a household name. At one point, someone else wasn't a household name. It's important to get people involved and let the viewer see people who aren't household names. Like, in the past, CrossFit HQ did a really good job of having media that did that. I was one of those guys. For Road to the Games, they did a video of me. I was in the Road to the Games and no one knew who I was. But now that HQ doesn't have any media, RIP, there's no one out there really that's really spreading a positive message and allowing people to really get introduced to people who aren't household names. Like, who is the fittest in Cambodia? Who is the fittest in Nicaragua? You have no idea who these guys are. And so it's important to maybe shine a light on these, showcase them, what they go through, spend a day in their life, what do they do for a living, what's their favorite food to eat, and hopefully if we travel some really weird places, we get to eat some really weird food. And when I say weird, I don't mean a derogatory word, I just mean like, Suriname. Like, you would never travel to Suriname in South America, but hopefully we get to travel someplace really weird like that, and hang out with some cool folks, eat some weird food. So it's kind of an idea we're going to be doing in 2020 that I'm in the case right now. I'm kind of finalizing some stuff, and that way, after I finalize a lot of the details, I can release it to the YouTube at large, kind of an official video for it, and then give companies the ability to sponsor videos and get involved, and essentially sponsor video and be like, hey, this video is sponsored by Tide detergent. This video is sponsored by Tide detergent. Today we're going to be traveling to, I don't even know how to even think of this. We're going to be traveling to Egypt and be hanging out with the fittest in Egypt today. So let's get to know the 2 male and female fittest in Egypt. We're traveling to the games of 2020. Let's get to know them. Let's hang out with them. So it's a cool opportunity for companies to get involved and sponsor videos. So kind of my idea. Let me know down below if it's a good idea, if you have any other kind of additions to it. And that's kind of the basis of it. So let's get back to some questions now that I've talked probably way too long. All right. Sorry, there's a lot of them. Yeah, so I can't really pronounce her name. Porshuvla. Hey, Jake, do you have any suggestions to help combat muscle soreness, increase volume without wearing the body too much? So that is a give and take, right? It's a give and take at the same time as it's something you learn over time. So what I'm trying to say is, you don't start CrossFit on Monday and then start with class, a class in a regular gym. And then on a Wednesday, decide you're going to increase volume. It just doesn't work that way, right? So you have to get used to it over time. And that takes years. I mean, I don't want to say years and years because then it's depressing, but it takes a long time to be able to get to that volume. But it changes for athletes, right? So you'll hit volume, you'll decrease it. So for like getting ready for the open, we decrease volume. Why? Because there's only one workout a day that you really care about. It's not like you're doing multiple workouts, right? If you have to do it open twice a day, so be it, but you usually don't. If you're training for the games, for a sanctional, you increase volume a little bit. So for like, we're going to Pandaland pretty soon, we're going to increase volume for that. Now, hopefully, officially have qualified for the open, so we're going to take some chances at Pandaland. We still want to win, but it doesn't matter as much. But at the same time, you still want to put your best foot forward and try as hard as you can. But my point is, you need to take volume into consideration what your goals are. Is it just the open? Probably needs to be less. Is it just to be fit? Volume probably needs to be less. Is it to go to the games or go to a sanctional or a local competition? Probably need to ramp it up a little bit more for that specific instance. Hopefully that answers your question. Ben, what did you do before CrossFit? What was the biggest hurdle you had to overcome when starting CrossFit? Honestly, Ben, so before I was a collegiate football player and I was super terrible at it. If you've heard any of my podcasts or any of me speak about it, I was the worst athlete on the team. That's completely fine. One of the worst athletes on the team, but at the same time, probably one of the hardest working guys on the team, and one of the fittest guys on the team. Like, I enjoyed being in shape and being able to do stuff like that. And so it was an easy turnover for me in certain things, like just being in shape, metabolic conditioning, and lactic threshold, I already had that. But in terms of, like gymnastics, that was really difficult for me. So it's actually really funny, like, Cole Sager and I are very similar individuals because we both struggle with the same things. You didn't go to the weightlifting, the weight room for football and then start doing muscle-ups on rings. You just didn't do that, right? Like, that didn't exist. So learning gymnastics and how to handstand walk and handstand push-ups and bar muscle-ups and ring muscle-ups and dub blunders and all those things that a lot of you guys struggle with, I had the hardest time in the world with and had to learn. So that was really difficult. That was the hardest hurdle I had to overcome. And honestly, still to this day, have to continue to get better at it, become more proficient. Do I wear contacts when I work out? Yeah, so I did the games this year. It was the first time, actually at the games, was the first time I ever wore contacts in a workout. I have daily contacts, and so I took them out after every workout, threw them in the trash. I essentially went through like 4 pairs of contacts every day at the games for like the whole duration of the games. But if I'm just here, I'll just wear regular Nike glasses, and they feel really comfortable. If I'm doing a lot of double unders and movements and I'm jumping around, I'll take them off. But for instance, most of the time you guys see me wear glasses in a workout, I have no issue with it. It doesn't bother me. If I break them, oh well, I just align a new pair. Turkey Creek, will you please come to my local box for a workout? So that's actually one good thing I want to talk about is I think it's important, and I say this in terms of CrossFit Games athletes, but you can apply this to anybody, anywhere. I think it's important when people travel. I see a lot of people travel and say, okay, I'm going to drop into this local box, and they call the gym or they email the gym and they say, can I do my own program? And that's fine. Like, it doesn't hurt to ask a question like that. There's nothing wrong with asking permission, and you should ask permission. But I think it's important to realize that when you travel, when you go to a different box, you're the guest. It's their box. And so, for instance, when I travel, and a good example is when I just got back from Washington, D.C. a couple weeks ago for a wedding, is when I travel and go to gyms, I join in on their class. I will join their class. Usually I'll call ahead, make sure I pay the drop-in fee or whatever the case may be, but I don't tell them I'm coming. I just drop in with the class. And it's important to realize that the community of CrossFit wasn't developed by coming into a CrossFit gym, putting earbuds in, working out in the corner by yourself. The community of CrossFit was developed by taking those earbuds out, listening to music that you may or may not like, and working out with a group of people you didn't know. And that's how the community in CrossFit was developed. And that's what I hope continues in the sport, and that's what I do to this day. I travel to CrossFit gyms, and I jump in with their class. Now, granted, after the class, and after I know the class, and I talk to the coach and tell them they did a great job, whatever. Do I do my own thing and ask? Yeah, absolutely, if there's an open gym. But I don't walk into a gym and assume that I have the run-of-the-mill affiliate's mine, and I'm just gonna, just take the whole space and work out by myself. I think it's important for GPP, general population, and for elite athletes in the sport, and anywhere in between, to realize that it's important to join a class and work out like that. Not people like that. It's important to join a class and work out the general population, because CrossFit was the foundation of CrossFit's community, and so you shouldn't spit on it and kind of ruin it. That's just my thoughts. And rant. All right, next question. How old is Winston? He's 2, and he's awesome. We actually just dropped him off at my parents' house today. So he's down at my parents' house for the next 2 weeks, so we won't see him, so it's kind of disappointing. I'm going to cry myself to sleep tonight. I don't want to talk about it. Nutritional advice. Gary, good things to eat the best times of the day for more energy. Honestly, Gary, I'm not the best person to ask for nutrition. I kind of eat by the fly and eat by feel. I kind of know hypothetically how much food I should ingest. If I'm feeling really tired or really just lethargic or weak, usually I've had to eat enough. One of the main things I struggle with is a caloric deficit. I do not normally eat enough, and that changes from person to person. So as a good example, because you might think, oh, Cole Sager and Jacob Hecker look the same, they're the same person. Nothing could be further from the truth. Like Cole, spending time with him, his body wants to tend to be a little bit heavier, so he has to watch what he eats. He can't eat a whole lot, and he has to tone it back down, even during our competition week. Whereas for me, I have to eat a lot and just keep eating because my body wants to be 160 pounds, 165, where I feel more comfortable being a 195. So it's important to watch what you eat, but again, it changes from person to person. I have to eat a lot. My wife's a great cook, so I don't have to really worry about, it's not like I'm going out and eating DiGiorno's pizza every night, so I'm not too worried about what I'm eating. She's a great cook. There's always something green in the meal. There's always a meat. There's always a carb. And so I'm pretty safe with what she cooks. Also, I eat Cole Sager's breakfast scramble every single morning. I love you, Cole. I still eat it. You've ruined breakfast for me. All right, next up. Do you pay attention to how many calories you burn through training? Absolutely not. Couldn't tell you. The only calories I really care about when I'm in training is the calories that are on the rower, the skier, or the biker. Other than that, couldn't tell you what I burn. I just eat. How to get stronger at a push, strict, or split jerk? Shelby, it really depends upon what you're struggling at. For me, when I first started doing Olympic lifting, CrossFit in general, and I think I talked about it in one of my recent videos, is we did a lot of bench press for football, right? So we did a lot of bench press for football, and for other high school sports, it's really safe to do, especially compared to overhead movements. I wouldn't disagree with that now, but that's what high school coaches think. And so you develop a lot of muscles here in the front, and so when it comes time to going overhead, I'm really not that mobile, and so my split jerk or push jerk or any overhead movement tends to look like this instead of like this, right? So that's a lot of work. So for me, mobility was the biggest thing to overcome when it came to overhead movements, and so that was the one thing I had to improve at. And sometimes it's just leg drive and making sure you're on your heels when you leg drive, and that's some of the biggest things I had to struggle with and I had to work on in order to become better at overhead movements. Of course, that's different for a strict press because strict press, you're not using your feet. So it's just a little bit different. All right. Jeremy, am I going to the Rogue Invitational? Sure am. I'll be there in Ohio. Will I be competing in Wodapalooza 2020? I don't think so. How much time in a year you are not working out at all? Usually about a week to a week and a half. It depends on what's going after the games. For instance, this year after the games, we had a really quick turnaround. So I had to really quickly leave the games and pretty much get right back into shape for the Open. I think I took like a week off. If the Open was back in February, I would have waited a lot longer. Just different from person to person. I mean, for me, if I wasn't working out, I probably would have just been joining a class, which would have been, still fitness, and just not the same fitness I'm used to. So I still would have probably done something, just not the same thing. What can I do to learn a muscle up? Oh shoot, lost my place. Oh shoot, where'd you go? I saw your message. What can you do to learn a muscle up, Maria? I have a great video on that that Andrew and I did on how-tos for muscle up. And honestly, not just my channel. There's a bunch of other channels out there with how to do muscle up. I know like WOD Prep is a great how-to channel for CrossFit, which you can search in the toolbar of YouTube and find it pretty easily. There's a lot of good resources out there. I also know there's also some great companies out there that will sell you, if you can't use free stuff to get a muscle up, you can also look up some, like, I don't recommend it, but they have companies that will sell you like 30 days to muscle up If the free stuff doesn't work, look into that kind of like documentation or programming for that. Midwest Made, my company, we don't have that. Partially because I think a lot of free information out there should get you a muscle up. Hopefully, if you just search it, you should find some really good videos to get you there. And also, half the time, it's just finding a coach in your gym that will help you get that done. All right. What's the name of my box? Cobra Command CrossFit. Tariq, and I hope I pronounced that wrong. T-A-R-I-Q, Tariq. Why eccentric training lately? That's a great question. I really wish my buddy Andrew was sitting right here. He would have given you a more scientific reasoning for that. But right now, we're going to be going through essentially a four weeks for each movement, or 4 weeks for each kind of focus. So right now we did 4 weeks of eccentric training, right? Eccentric meaning lowering down, right? I'm not super scientific, so you have to forgive me on my discussion here. But we're going to spend 4 weeks doing essentially eccentric loading, right? So you've seen me do eccentric overhead squats, you've seen me do eccentric back squats, eccentric front squats, eccentric snatches. I've done eccentric cleans, eccentric split squat, eccentric everything. We're spending 4 weeks doing eccentric, and then after that, we're going to be doing either 4 weeks of concentric, which is the bottom, right? The bottom position. So I'm sitting in the bottom of a squat, or, I'm sitting in the bottom of a snatch. Or we're either doing 4 weeks of concentric or 4 weeks of, oh wait, that's not right. Concentric's different. Concentric is the going up portion. There's the other one where you're at the base level. I can't remember what it's called. Isolate? I can't remember what it's called. Anyways, we're going to be spending 4 weeks doing each portion, and mostly because it focuses on good quality movement. Instead of always being explosive and always going like that, it's going to be important to focus on just slowing it down and making sure you're hitting good quality movement, and it looks good, and you're strengthening certain positions. That's kind of the reason why I tweak. I hope that helps. I'm not super expertise. That's my expertise to talk about that. If Andrew is here, he'd be giving you a great reasoning for it. But it's going to be probably a good solid 12 weeks of tempo movement, whether you're going up, going down, or in the hole. It's going to be really solid, and it really helped me out quite a bit for the 3 weeks I've done it. All right, hold on. Sonia, have you ever used a muscle recovery gun? Do they work well? Do you have a favorite? Personally, I use Theragun right now, and it works great. Probably be taking it on the plane if I can. That's actually one question I actually sent them, and I think Mark Pro, I was like, hey, can I take these things on a plane, or is they going to get confiscated from me on the way to China? Because it's Mark Pro, it looks really weird and has a battery. I wasn't sure if they were going to keep me out for it. IDC Animations, what are your thoughts on ice baths? Personally, there's a lot of science behind whether ice baths actually work or not. I think what it comes down to is it comes down to you personally. Do you think ice baths work on you? Do you do ice baths, and at the end of it, do you feel better? If so, do them. Sure, science is important, and is it a placebo? I'm not going to answer that question yes or no. But at the same time, if you get done doing something, whether it's a massage gun or stim unit or an ice bath or stretching or whatever, if you get done with something and you think you improve, you feel better, then do it. What's the difference? Who cares what the science says? If you feel better, mentally you'll feel better, and it'll help you in the long run. I think it's worth your time. I did a lot of ice baths leading up to the CrossFit Games. I don't do a whole lot now, only because it's really stinking cold outside, and I'm not really training for anything other than just handling. So I'm not too worried about, my volume is really low, so I'm not really about recovery as much as I was right before the games. Hopefully that helps with your question. How do you do metabolic conditioning and monostructural training without it affecting your weightlifting training? Great question. So it does affect it, right? So I'm going to answer that question right off the bat. It does affect it. If your goal, and it's polarized, right? You have to look at it this way. If your goal is becoming a United States of America weightlifter, go to the Olympics and snatch 400 pounds, or win the Olympics and go there and do really well and snatch and clean and jerk, you don't do metcons and you don't do metabolic conditioning. You just don't do it. So if I wanted to just do really good weightlifting, then I wouldn't do metabolic conditioning and monostructural work. But if I want to do well at CrossFit, I have to do both. So yes, it absolutely does affect it because I'm not snatching 400 pounds. But that's not my goal. My goal is to do well at CrossFit Games. In order to do well at CrossFit Games, to be well-rounded. Well-rounded includes metcons, metabolic conditioning, and weightlifting. So it absolutely does affect it. It's just, what are your goals? If your goal is to go to the CrossFit Games and do well, then you should do all three of these things. But if it's not to go to the CrossFit Games and it's go to the USAW meet and do well and go to the Olympics, then you don't do metabolic conditioning and long structural work. Kind of my quick answer to that. It absolutely does affect it pretty much. Michael, what are your mindset? You need the other way, Vince?
I just didn't know. They're gonna do the floors and stuff today.
Oh, cool. Okay. Someone here clean the floors. I'll be done in like a couple minutes. Cool. If I had to buy, am I able to work out in the corner somewhere?
I'll decide. They're gonna do this side first.
Oh, okay, cool. If I could buy one piece of conditioning equipment, which would it be? A biker, a rower, a skier, or an aerosol bike? So actually someone asked me that a couple days ago. I would not recommend buying an aerosol bike over a biker, so I'd rank bike or aerosol bike. That's only because aerosol bikes have so many moving parts, they always tend to break. Bikers, our gym did, so Cobra Command did. We had a lot of aerosol bikes. They require a lot of maintenance, and if you don't maintain them very well, they end up like little parts break, and if little parts break, and then they kind of mess up, they make weird noises. And bikers are very consistent across. That's the same for any concept two-piece equipment. They're very consistent across the board. You don't have to worry about like having a fast bike. And so bikers, I think, are more important than an aerosol bike. I'd rank it rower, biker, skier, aerosol bike. That's my quick definition. Why? Because rowers are always in the open. Bikers are cool to have. Skiers are weird, but super nice to have too. And aerosol bikes, there's too much maintenance for it. Oh geez, now I scrolled too far. There it is. Kevin, how important is the work release of the psoas? Have you ever used a Pso-Rite? I have one. I haven't used it very often, but I have went to actual experts, not experts, like, PTs, chiropractors, not chiropractors, PTs, physical therapists, that actually help them release my psoas. Like even at the games, if I'm there with like, who's the company that sponsors the games? It's always there. That company that always is there working at the games, that works on athletes. I will have them release my psoas. It is important to do, but I don't think I've ever used a Pso-Rite, whatever the heck it's called, to release my psoas. But I know that I think they work, but I've never actually used one, so I can't speak to it personally. What was my biggest weakness this year going into the games? I think the biggest weakness this year going into the games, honestly, being comfortable on a competition floor. It had been 2 years since I've been back to the games, and I only did one sanctional. And I think this year we're going to focus on actually getting more comfortable at competitions, taking chances, being on a competition floor, having a judge, instead of just being in a gym by yourself. I think that was my biggest weakness at the games this year, was just the fact that I hadn't really competed on a competition floor. Before that, it was Australia, and before that, it was the 2016 games. So I think being out there and being comfortable is really important and overlooked quite a bit. How did I meet my wife? That is a long discussion for another day. She was in college. She was a freshman when I was a junior. She refused to date me for 4 years and essentially treated me as like her friend zone. And after 4 years, I convinced her to date me, and then I married her. Perseverance. A little bit of perseverance and a little bit of stalking will always get you the girl you want. I'm just kidding. Don't take that. Don't quote me on that. I'm 48. Is it good to get fit? Absolutely not. Obviously, the name of your CrossFit channel or your channel is 48 Fit. You obviously already know that answer. So no, it's absolutely not. We have masters athletes who are 60, who are bosses at muscle ups and bosses at doing CrossFit, and they're 60 years old. That to me is really impressive. Will I ever visit Germany? Maybe.
The gym.
What is the best way to teach about Germany? Outside of CrossFit, what are your hobbies, interests? What are you passionate about? Honestly, right now, what I'm really passionate, you have to remind yourself or kind of realize that there's not a whole lot of time outside of this for me to do it. It's not like I have, after CrossFit and after my wife and the things I have to do in my life, after all those things, how much time do I have left? I really don't have that much time to focus on other things. So, what are my hobbies and interests? They really have to kind of be aligned with CrossFit. So right now, one big hobby or something I'm passionate about is this channel, is the ability of having a positive influence on people, impacting people in our community, and showcasing people's strengths and like I talked about the national champ idea. Like those are things I'm passionate about. The other thing we're going to be doing in 2020 is the Jacob of all trades. Hopefully we're going to be doing a season number 2. And so one cool concept, I was approached by doing a Jacob of all trades couple episodes on the St. Jude main campus in Memphis, Tennessee, to be able to go there and essentially do a couple of jobs on St. Jude's main campus and showcase them and what St. Jude's all about, the idea that no child wants to die in the dawn of life when it comes to cancer, and the fact that no child has to pay for cancer treatment there. My sister was one of those patients there. And so be able to showcase not only people in the community through national champs and the positive impact behind that, but also showcase people outside of CrossFit in their community that are changing lives. And for me, so I'm passionate about this channel, what I can do with it, the community I can create. Like Instagram's great, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you can't really impact that many people on Instagram. Like, but be able to do this, have a live Q&A, and be able to do things like this on my channel, that's a positive impact you can have on people's lives. Hopefully that answers your question, Jeremy. Have you ever tried rock climbing? Yes, I hated it. I fell. Geez, this thing scrolls too fast for me. Say, Vince. Do you have a video about Toes Bar? Kate, I don't have a video about Toes Bar, but if you search in YouTube how to do Toes Bar, there is a channel out there that's probably done it. And one I've already mentioned is WOD Prep. That's a great channel that does like how-tos on a lot of different things. I guarantee they have a how-to on Toes Bar. And how to really, I think I've talked about it in previous videos, like inside of daily commentary videos, I talked about like the 2 different ways of doing Toes Bar, whether it's a long kip or a short kip, and how to switch between them. But in terms of like how to do a Toes Bar, like basic ground level, I don't think I have one, but WOD Prep should probably have one. So, shout out to them. Axel, I've seen you wearing glasses recently during workouts. Does it affect you negatively by any means? If so, are there any plans to work around it? Honestly, no. I just can't see very well. So like if I want to see a clock or know my splits, it's hard for me to see a clock, like behind me if I'm this far away. Actually in years past when I was like competing in regionals, RIP, I usually wore a stopwatch. And so when they say 3, 2, 1 go, I'd start it, and then I always knew my time on my stopwatch. But stopwatch kind of got in the way of like grips and everything, even like kettlebell swings because the kettlebell might hit it. So I stopped wearing a stopwatch, started wearing glasses, and here we are. I'm getting old, guys, so my eyesight is degenerating and I can't see that much anymore. Keegan, if I want to step up my regional sanctional competing level, what are the changes and commitments I need to make to daily and monthly? Keegan, it comes down to what your programming is, right? So like, well, let me clarify that. It's both, right? So a lot of people think, okay, there's not a magic sense of programming. Like I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I am going to sit here and tell you that I love the programming I do through Midwest Made, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Midwest Made programming is a magic bullet that's going to get you to the games. The same as the programming that Rich puts out is not the magic bullet that's going to get you to the games. There are great programming options out there. They're all going to be a little bit different focused on and different goals and different things. They're all great options, but at the same time, it's not the magic bullet program that'll get you to the games. It's actually the work you put in. So it really comes down to what work you put in, and that's going to get you to the games. It's not like, oh, if I do this programming, I'm going to magically make it to the games. No. It really comes down to the work you put in and day out and what you're focused on. So my best advice I usually give to people who just start CrossFit, who like want to make it to the games and want to get better, usually comes down to working on your weaknesses. You know what they are. You know what you aren't good at. You know what you need to improve on. Same as I do. What's chicken pepper not good at? 1 max snatch, 1 max clean and jerk, 1 max deadlift. Anything that's super, super heavy. Swimming, sprinting. And so those are the things we've been working on. Not really swimming so much because it's kind of like off season, but those are the things that I need to work on if I want to become a better athlete. So if I want to become more competitive or a better athlete at the games, those are the things I need to focus on. Instead of taking really low scores on those, I need to take better scores and increase my chances of podium. And so really when it comes down to it, that's my best advice to you is you need to focus on what you're not good at and attack those day in and day out. Wartani, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Strength training before or after a workout? The same for accessory. So we do both. You should be able to do both. So for my programming, Midwest Maine, the first session we do in a day in here in the gym, I usually start out with a Metcon. That's kind of, it's trying to, not really a warm up. It's still, you still focus on it. But I start with the Metcon, and then I go into my accessory and strength. At night in the barn, we actually do strength first and then roll into a Metcon. So we do both. We're just gonna switch it up. That's the schedule I like to do, but it can change by person to person and if you're time constraints and that kind of stuff. Street tacos or pizza? Street tacos. How many days per week do you train? I train 5 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on. Okay. Thursday off. Friday, Saturday on. Almost flipped you off. Sunday off. Today is going to be on only because I'm traveling tomorrow, so I'm going to work out today only because I'm traveling tomorrow on the plane. I'm 16 and my parents won't let me get a gym membership and will let me build my own gym in a garage. What equipment should I get first or how to start? Aiden, so the first thing I'd recommend is, it's actually funny, they'll let you get a gym membership, which could cost like $100 to $120 a month. Whereas buying equipment is a one-time cost, but is a lot more expensive than that, depending on the long run, right? So if you're gonna build a garage gym, I would say first thing you need is a barbell, plates, a rower, and a rig. A small rack, right, is all you really need. And maybe like a small kettlebell, like a 53 to 70 pound kettlebell. That's what I would recommend getting first. But my best advice for people who don't get gym memberships, because sometimes it's because of the cost. So if it's due to the overarching like subscription-based cost, what I usually recommend to people who say that is go into the gym. One big thing that gym owners will always recommend is cleaning. And so if you go into the gym and say, hey, like I will help clean the gym for a membership, like clean the toilets or whatever, they'll always respect that, and they usually will give you a gym membership. So for instance, like I've cleaned the gyms here in the bathrooms here in Cobra Command every now and again just because. And so I think people need to respect that and think, okay, well if I can't afford membership, cleaning a gym is always respected, and you can always get like the affiliate owner to give you kind of like a % off. So if your parents are letting you get a gym membership because of the cost, that's one way of doing it. If they are doing it just because they want to drive you to the gym, then I would recommend barbell, plates, rower, small kettlebell, and a small rig. Why do you put your thumb over the bar when doing pull-ups and muscle-ups? That's how I like to do it. I don't like my thumb under it because it rolls on my thumb some. So if I'm doing bar muscle-ups and I'm turning over, I don't know. That's just my personal preference. I've always done it that way. I call it a suicide grip, like a suicide grip over a thumb wrap. It's just my personal preference. Hey, all right, guys. I'm gonna answer like one or two more, and then I gotta get back to working out. Favorite book genre? Sci-fi, anything Star Wars. What is your CV? This is the last question, then I'll kind of clean it. So I take Pure Spectrum, and so I actually took it for a couple months leading up to the games. I took it for inflammation, and one thing I didn't, to be honest, I didn't really notice a whole lot of change after a couple weeks, and so I actually called them up, and I was dead honest with them. I was like, look, they're like, how's it going? Do you like it? And I was like, look, guys, like I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not really feeling a difference. And they were like, well, how much are you taking? And so I told them, and Hunter McIntyre also told me this. He's like, look, the amount of volume you're putting into the gym here, and also combined with your body weight, and the fact you're trying to go to the games to recover, all three of these things put together, like you probably need to be taking more than they're telling you. And so sometimes, and I don't recommend this for, like, you don't apply this to like Advil and Aleve and then start like ODing on things. But they were like, you probably need to take a little more than we recommend, and I think it will help you. And so I did that. I actually, leading up to the games, was taking double, sometimes triple dosage of CBD, and I really felt it pretty quickly. And I think it was due in the part that, body weight, I'm 195, and so sometimes they base dosages off of, and nothing against companies that do this, but they base dosages sometimes off of like a normal person, and a normal person doesn't do what I do. And so you need to take that consideration when you're taking that kind of product. For me, Pure Spectrum is what I use. I love it. I won't use anything else. And so if you have any other questions on that, you can slide in my DMs on Instagram. I'll give you a code. I think I have like a 20% off code, just my last name, Hepner. You can check out. But yeah, that's what I did. I had to double, triple dose it to be able to get to where it felt good. And that's what I do now. And I currently haven't looked back since. Anyways, guys, hope you guys appreciate this. We're gonna try and do these probably once a week. I will say in China it's going to be kind of difficult because I'm not really sure on VPNs, on doing like YouTube Live through a VPN in China. I'm not sure how that's going to work. It might be kind of slow. We're going to try though. We are going to China and then going to the Philippines. So in the Philippines, I should be able to use YouTube because I don't think it's blocked in the Philippines. So I should be able to use it there. But we're going to try and do that. I'm going to try to use once a week. So a couple of different things we're going to be rolling out on the channel pretty soon for 2020 is the National Champ concept. We're going to be doing a season 2 for Jake Revolt Trades, hopefully. And then we're going to be rolling out a YouTube membership concept where essentially you can join the channel for a really small monthly fee, like $3 or something like that, where you can join the channel and you'll have custom emojis put down. You can enjoy live streams like this. And there'll be a couple other perks that I'll make sure they're existing there. But the purpose of making sure that, you know, like, it's worth it to you guys joining the channel. I need to make sure I do live streams once a week and answer as many questions as I possibly can. Even though I get asked them all the time, it's important that they get answered if you're watching it and you ask it. So anyways, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya.